let's throw it over to Mike, to HighScorsese, to see if he can break his HighScorsese.
All right, first off, how's everybody doing today? We all doing good? Excellent. Thank you all for coming. I am HighScorsese, as you would know me online. My name is Mike. I will be breaking a world record that I currently hold, one that I set live at TooManyGames 2023 last year, and that is the highest score in one life for Sonic 1. So this is a no death or a 1cc run. A couple rules here. This is a no glitch run, all right? Glitches, disqualified, got to go back to the beginning. Any death whatsoever, got to go back to the beginning on there. All right, the current record is 741,190 points. I am hoping for an over 900,000 point run today. So without further ado, let's do this. So I just got to cycle the system on and off, show that I'm doing this for real, that I'm not cheating, like certain people you may have heard about in certain lawsuits in the news, who I'm not going to mention. All right. So, first attempt. A solid run takes about an hour and 20 minutes on here. This is going to be a mix of speed running, treasure hunting, and there's a couple sections where there's a bit of a repetitive kind of combo section. So we'll be doing a lot of Q&A during that. All right, going to give this a reset and get started. During the course of this whole run, I'm going to be narrating what I'm doing, so you will actually get a little education in how to do this and kind of what my thought process is here, like why I do what I do. All right, so the first level up, Green Hill 1, the famous, all right? This is a speed run. I have to finish this in under 30 seconds to get the full bonus, but I also want to get a lot of rings and the bonus level access. Now, I may restart on this one. Sometimes you get a bad toss on the ramp coming out of the tunnel, so hopefully I don't have to, but this is one of the most common restart points here. Nope, got a good one. All right, under 30, both bonus flags and 93 rings. That's literally as good as I've ever done on that. So we're pacing great here. Thank you, thank you. Now the bonus levels. These are necessary, but oh man, are they frustrating. A lot of people are not fans of the bonus levels in Sonic 1. So here's the deal. These are ring bonuses. Each ring you finish the level with, whether it's a bonus level or a regular level, is 100 points. The emeralds actually don't give you any points. All they do is work towards the good ending and take a bonus level out of rotation. So the plan here is to get as many rings as is feasible and take all the levels out of rotation except for the fourth one. The fourth one has the most rings and is set up in a way... oh well. So I'm not going to get as many rings on this one. Luckily, there's barely even 100 rings in this one, so it's not a big deal that I didn't get a ton here. I'm not going to restart for that. But the goal is to make it so I repeat the fourth one about 3 or 4 times there, because for that, well, I guess I'm going to have to see this one again. Close enough. I try and get about 80,000 going into the second level, so I'm pacing a little behind, but it's not too bad. All right, this is another speed run level, but this one is kind of difficult. There's a couple of little hairy spots in there. Here I go back because you want to make sure you have enough speed to break all the way through the wall. If you don't do that, you're screwed. Oh, all right, this one might be a photo finish here. Got it. Ooh, and the 1,000. I wasn't expecting to get the 1,000 bonus flag on that. Like, when I do, like, the have to rush, a lot of times that doesn't happen. That's exactly what I wanted there. All right, 145 going into second bonus. Not bad. So one thing you'll notice, since I finished the level with the speed shoes, the music is sped up in the bonus level. Nothing else changes, but the game doesn't kind of alter for that. All right, sorry, I'm just trying to spin this around to the correct direction so I can get those rings over there. This one, the main section, is kind of precarious, but the ring area, like the chamber that has the actual emerald in it, is not so bad. So as long as I get enough stuff over here and do that, this is good. This is usually for over 100 rings, which is an extra 10,000 point boost. All right. And for some of this, I'm just going to put it out there. I am not going for pure perfection here. You know, this is a live run. I have only so many minutes to do this. So I'm going to do the absolute best I can. But if I leave a few points on the table, which I already have, no big deal. As long as I accomplish the goal, we are good to go. As I said before in the interview, I did not come to lose. All right, so in this chamber right here, this one's pretty safe. There's only one goal section, and it's not put in a way that's easy to inadvertently get thrown into. All right, so you just want to kind of get both sides. Hopefully I can clear 100 on this one. I think I got enough in the main section. And then we go into 3. 3 is the first level that's not quite a speed run. It's done in under 45 seconds, but it's impossible to do it under 30 without glitching in some way. All right, so this is the part where you can run into some danger, but it's not the worst. Just this bumper here is giving me a little trouble. There we go. So the crazy thing about these bonus stages, by the way, is according to the game, like in the background of the game, you're actually on the floor the whole time, all right? You are not just floating through the air. And because of that, there's some kind of weird things that happen with the physics. You're always rotating, and you could change your rotation speed. And what will happen is gravity will change direction on you. So you would think it just goes down, but sometimes it'll catch and just throw you at rocket speed, like to where you don't want to go. So you got to be really careful about your rotation speed here, which you do control that. But yeah, see, if you let go in the wrong direction, it's kind of like a proto-spin dash there. All right. All right, so first emerald there. That means 2's out of the rotation. It's never coming back. Got an extra 10K, so we're at 155. 156. Now, there is a crazy score way you can do this. I'm not going to attempt it here, but there's a way to actually get like over 100,000 points on this level alone, and it is this insane like blind enemy bouncing combo that goes like all across the entire level. It's absolutely crazy. If you want to see it done, look up a guy on YouTube named Worster, W-E-R-S-T-E-R. He's known for doing what's called score attack, and he's got the record. Ooh, I missed the shield. This might not... I should be able to pull this off still. Got him. All right. I might squeak it into photo finish. I might not. Hopefully I do to get the 10,000. Yes. All right. Whew. All right. So no harm, no foul there. Got the points. Good to go. So when you finish in under 45 seconds, all right, so between 30 and 45, you get a 10,000 point bonus. So I really wanted to make sure I got that. All right, this one is just get through. It's kind of a treasure hunt. It doesn't take very long. You just want to finish cleanly with a lot of rings. The next one is the first of the grinding sections, and that's where we're going to start doing some QA there. So this level actually was kind of the bane of my existence at TooManyGames when I did this, and I'm going to the section is coming up. So I started off the game with a great run, right, at the convention. I came out the gate, and I had literally everything the way I wanted it to be. And then I got to the part that was coming up, and I ended up with a very stupid crush death. And anyone who's played Sonic 1 can know crush deaths are not always the most intuitive thing, and they will break your heart in an instant. So that piston right there, all right? I foolishly tried to jump through it quickly, got crushed, ruined my run, had to go back to the beginning, and then I couldn't get a good run started for a while, to the point where I literally finished the final record-breaking run at the exact minute that I ran out of time. And, whoo man, was I sweating up there. So you want to get these in the chamber here. I don't need the free life. That's why it's a 1cc run, so if I lose a life, I'm done anyway. So here I'm going to wait because those are timed a little erratically. And it's never fun to take your jump and be helpless in the air while a fireball just shoots you right up the butt. All right, we're going to get our bonus flags here. There we go. So with that ring, right, the bonus flag for the 1,000 is like right in front of the ring. So if you just kind of skim the edge, it'll do it at the same time, and you don't have to like loop yourself around. All right, so the trick to this, nothing. If you just do nothing, it'll put you in a safe spot right there. This one is cool, but it's also annoying. So it's a kind of a free fall, right? Everything's in the middle. There are a lot of rings, so I'm just kind of trying to get to the 100 here, and then make my attempt at getting the emerald. All right, there's 50. Because just getting the actual emerald out of the middle section is really annoying in this one. You end up getting tossed around a lot, and as a result, you actually end up inadvertently picking up more rings. So that's why, like, the 100 signal, once that fanfare plays, that's kind of my sign is like, all right, start trying to wrap this up. By the way, it's funny because of, the difference in, timing and sound. Like, I have the little sound coming off my little monitor here, but I also hear the sound coming from the PA that you are listening to, and there's, like, a weird kind of, like, a lag to it, so it's like, I got all kinds of crazy stuff going on here. All right, I think that was it. I'm pretty sure I heard the thing. I'm going to start going for the emerald now. Ooh. Come on. Yeah, but I cannot stand having to get this one. This is my least favorite to actually retrieve. Oh, thank goodness. I really did not want to see that one again. Thank you. And also, shout out to that Link cosplay in the front row. Good looks, man. You're looking good. All right. This is the level that has the grinding, so I got to get to the section as fast as I can. And then we have until 8 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock before I make my break for the finish line. Yeah, right. So we're going to do some QA here. And remember, this is an Ask Me Anything format, all right? You want to ask about Sonic. You want to ask about video games in general. You want to ask something about me personally. As long as it's appropriate, I'm down. I will answer whatever. And also remember, Elliot is giving out prizes. So make sure you reach him, ask some questions, and try and get some prizes. So here, you just want to clear this section. You got to be careful here, because if you don't have enough speed, you'll actually end up in the lava. It's kind of a tight jump there. Ugh. All right, so no big deal. That's annoying, but it's not terrible, because I can still collect at least 50 rings from this section alone. I just got to be a little careful. All right, so that means I'm just going to kind of take this part just a little slow, because I don't want to lose my rings to the flames. Wow, it's funny hearing like the rings pick up sound like 2 seconds later than you actually do it. Nice. All right. So here it is. Here is the crazy section. Each time I do that, it's 1,800 points. But you got to set up the ending. So here, I'm going to lure these bats out, but I'm not going to kill them. All right? I need them alive. It's like a bad action movie. All right? So now that they're there, I have them for later. If you notice, the blocks respawn. Once you pass the tile that starts the cave there, all the blocks respawn. And each time you do it, it's 1,800 points for the combo. So we're going to be kind of chaining this until 8:30 on the clock. So that way I can lure the bats out and do the final bounce, which will give me either 50 or 60,000, depending on the very end. The 60,000 rarely happens. It relies on a very frame-perfect maneuver. But if it does, awesome.
So while Mike is playing here, I'm going to be taking some questions. If anyone has something that they'd like to ask Mike, give me a wave and we'll come round.
And remember, this one, so the tricky part about this is if you mess up and you end up on the second row, you're done. You cannot bounce high enough to get back on the platform. So that's why this one, it can go bad in an instant. Now imagine doing the 5 lives one where you have to do it for 45 straight minutes. Put you into trance. Let's just say I have a lot of B-roll footage at home with a lot of controller throwing and foul language as a result of it. Oh, and also, if some of your questions are about food, that's welcome. On my Twitch channel, we talk about food a lot. I like to eat. All right, so our goal here, we're hoping to get around 350 before we make our break for the finish line. You get a lot of points in this section.
Well, Mike, we have someone here to ask you a question. What's your name?
Lucas.
Lucas?
Hey, Lucas, thanks for coming out.
Lucas, what's your question for Mike as he tries to break the Sonic the One? That's the third
I love
time.
it, dude.
The Sonic the Hedgehog 1 high score that is his own world record.
Yeah, what's the hardest run that you've done on any game and succeeded, but then also one that you failed?
Okay, well, the hardest run I've done on any game and succeeded is definitely the 5 lives one because it is a 2 hour and 15-minute endurance run of doing this, and the slightest thing that goes wrong just screws you. One that I've failed is actually in the same game. I was going for the world record for speedrunning Green Hill Act 1. That record was set back in 2006. It's 24 seconds for the level. I have a video of a run where I am 25 seconds and 4 frames away, like literally touching the signpost when it changed. And let me tell you, speedrunning, if you ever got into speedrunning, it is one of the most frustrating and grueling things you can ever encounter or do. So I have massive respect for anybody who is a good speedrunner, especially the glitch-free people. I mean, glitches are crazy, too. Some of the stuff you got to do to set those glitches, to actually trigger them are insane. But, like, doing just, like, a glitch-free, like, mic drop and speed run is insane, and those people deserve all the respect in the world.
Well, thank you so much. That was a wonderful question. Lucas, I'm going to let you pick between a set of badges and a set of pins, and they all look pretty cool. What do you think?
These are the pins, for sure.
The pins, for sure. All right, thank you very much, Lucas. Now you can see me in the crowd. Give me a wave if you would like to ask Mike a question whilst he breaks blocks. It's looking a bit Tetris-y up there, Mike.
It is. Also, shout-outs to that 13-year-old kid who finally broke the Tetris record there. That was amazing. I forget his name, so, if he watches PAX on there, I'm giving you a shout-out, buddy. I just don't remember your name. And don't worry, we only got a couple minutes left of this. All right, we got 2.5 more minutes of this one. There is a bouncing section in the next level, and that is the last of these for the entire game. So yeah, get your questions going. Let's talk. And now I technically could do this. I could leave myself a little less time at the end. But you'll see why when I actually go for it that I always give myself a little grace period. Sometimes I need it, sometimes I don't. It has to do with the behavior of the bats because you actually use them in the combo. And if they don't do what you want, well, you gotta wait. Doing good. It's looking like I should come really close to the 350 mark here. I think I will actually pull it off. Right. All right, 90 seconds left to go before we make our break for the finish and end the level, hopefully with over 400,000 points when all is said and done, which would put me in a really good spot for this. It's good pacing. So yeah, these 2 levels, like I said, they're a little bit of a slog. They are a grinding point. They don't violate rules against grinding and point pressing for any of the records bureaus. Because there is a timer. So since I can't, I have to stop because the game will just kill me off at 10 minutes, it doesn't break the rules there. All right, 1 more minute to go. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to hit 350. I think this will work out.
Well, Mike, as you hit 350,000 points, we have another question from the crowd. What's your name?
My name's Rick.
Hey, Rick. Thanks for coming out.
Rick, what is your question for Mike right now?
Sonic the Hedgehog was the first game I ever played, and I want to know which stage has the best music.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's tough. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog is a series full of certified bangers right there, right? Every single game just has amazing music. If we're talking about Sonic 1, I like Starlight, and I really like the Scrap Brain music. I think it's, cool. I like that low rumbling bass line. It's got that like da-da-da-da-da-da-da on there. I think it's got a cool sound to it. So I'd have to go with either Starlight or Scrap Brain. Honorable mention, Labyrinth. All right, I'm going to take my last block bounce, and I'm going to lure these bats out. How about you, Rick? What do you like? What's your favorite?
Gotta go with Starlight. Good answer.
Awesome.
I like that you guys are in agreement. And, of course, Rick, I'm going to
All
let
right.
you choose between the badges and the pins.
All right, so here we have the bats lured. They're next to each other, but they need to stay... oops. All right, so I'm going to... There's false start there, but it's okay. All right, we need them to stay close, and they need to stay close to you. If you get too far away, they go looking for a ceiling, and they fly off, and you lose. All right, so 1, 2, and then all of these. That will get me 50,000 points right there. And if I do the last thing correctly, I'll get 60. Come on. Oh, got it! Yes! Oh, man, that is tough. I don't normally get that one. That is a frame-perfect maneuver to get through that gap. So, very happy that I pulled that off here. Wow.
Mike, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Can we get another question?
Absolutely, yeah, ask away.
All right, what's your name?
Ted.
Hey, Ted. How you doing? By the way, Ted, do you watch the show, Ted? Do you watch the show, Ted, on Peacock? I just got into it, and I'm loving it.
There's a show? I know there was 2 movies.
Yeah, they just made a show, and it's awesome.
I only saw the first movie.
Nice.
It's a great movie. I love it. I can't say any of the quotes from it here.
No, you can't. I saw it in the movie theater 3 times, and I'm definitely not going to be quoting it here for obvious reasons.
Ted, what is your question for Mike?
My question was, I noticed there's 2 restrictions for this run, which are only 1 life, and I can't remember what the other one was, but...
No
Oh, yeah,
glitches.
no glitches. If either or both of those were removed, would you be able to just grind points infinitely?
For 1 life, not really, because you have the timer. If it was unlimited life restrictions, you can actually max out the score. So the way you would do that is on Green Hill Act 1, you can basically collect enough rings and get enough bonus lives where you end up with like 3 at a clip. And then you just keep doing it and dying until you get 99 lives. Then collect the speed run and go about as you would. And then you just spend all your time on the block bounce in Marble Zone 3 until you go completely insane. And then you max out the score. So it is possible, but not in a 1 life format.
I'm loving learning all of this stuff about Sonic the Hedgehog 1. This is actually really, really taking me back. I believe it or not, Mike, was never quite as good as you.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you're great.
Ted, thank you for a wonderful question. I'm going to let you choose between a set of PAX badges and also some commemorative PAX dice.
Ooh, that's awesome.
I would like the badges, please.
Fantastic. They are really cool. Thank you very much for your question, Ted. Mike, how are you doing? Are we still okay with more questions?
Absolutely. I really wanted to say no dice there, just because you set me up for it, but yes, I am okay with for more questions.
All right, I'm going to jump straight into another one then. Hello. What's your name?
My name is Lance. How are you?
Lance, what's up, buddy? We've never met before, right?
No. Total stranger. Hey, I got a question for you, though. What underrated 1980s band released the song Lay It Down?
Well, that would be Rat with the guitar stylings of the great Warren DeMartini right there.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
We did say you do not have to ask Mike about the game necessarily, as long as it is family friendly. You can ask whatever you like. Lance, what's your choice, badges or dice?
I'm going to have to go with the badges, man.
Nice.
The badges are really cool.
Got anything else for me, Lance?
Not at this time, no.
Nice.
Lance will be making more appearances as the show goes on.
Oh, yeah. Lance is a plant. He's here to make me look good.
All right. We have another question for you, Mike. People are really going crazy for this
Awesome.
segment.
Well, keep them coming. I love it. This is making it so much more fun for me.
What's your name?
Abbott.
Abbott?
Say that one more time for everyone.
Abbott.
Abbott, cool. Hey, Abbott, thanks for coming out.
And what's your question for Mike?
How do you multitask so well?
I don't know. I'm going to say ADHD. Because I am just scatterbrained as all heck and have really bad ADHD. I can get into a good focus mode. And it's like anything else, when you really, get something down, you start to be able to kind of see it as second nature. Even though there's always stuff I have to pay attention to here, I've just kind of learned to roll with it. I also practice. When I would practice for these, I would have my wife, Tiffany, who's in the crowd here today, I would have her talk to me during some of these and just carry on a conversation and kind of, get used to doing it. Also, just from doing it on Twitch. I do it on Twitch a couple times a week. I'm always talking and interacting with my audience there. So I just kind of got used to it.
And you can find Mike on Twitch at HighScorsese. And for more content like this, I can tell there's quite an interest for it. Abbott, look, I'm going to let you choose your prize here between some PAX badges and some PAX dice. Do you want to have a look at those? What do you think?
And folks,
Dice.
Nice, good choice. All right, and folks, I am intentionally losing this one because I want to repeat this bonus level. So that's not a blunder, that's on purpose. Yeah, see, 186 is 187 rings in there. There's just one that's in a location that's really kind of not great, and I'm not going to lose it over one ring. It's a difference of 100 points, so not worth it.
Mike, I have a bit of a question for you here.
Yes, sir.
How is this run going? Is it going to plan?
It's actually, I don't want to jinx myself, but it's going very well.
Well, it's too late. You've jinxed it now.
I have, yeah. I am in big trouble now.
I should never have asked. I apologize.
Oh, it's all right.
And are we at the danger zone yet? Are we still good to ask some more questions of you?
Actually, yes, because this is another grind section coming up. I just want to narrate this part. So just this right here, the safety, wait till they both shoot at the same time. So that's why I'm kind of waiting here, because I'm getting kind of not so great. Because the reason is you don't want the other one to fire off, and that way you can do this and get yourself an extra couple thousand points.
The nuance here is unreal.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things. There's things that you learn, just like, strategy-wise and do it, and then there's other things you learn because you never thought about them, and then on your 50th attempt, you got killed with something so ridiculous, like such an edge case, that it traumatizes you, and then every time you go there, you have a trauma response. You're just like, oh no.
Flashbacks.
There's one in Labyrinth Zone 3 that is the bane of my existence. I will make sure to point it out. I call it the graveyard of records.
Well, Mike, we have another question for you here. What's your name?
Carrie?
Hi, Carrie.
Carrie, what's your question for Mike?
So how did you learn the bit with the bats and all those little tricks? How do you figure those out?
Okay, so a couple things. So the block bouncing combo, just in general, doing that, I knew from being a kid. I used to bounce that section and be like, oh, cool, I got 10,000 or 20,000 points. That's awesome, So I always knew that was going to be a part of it. I did watch videos of previous record holders. You always got to do your homework on there. But the bats part, I added myself. I had actually never seen anybody do that. So the previous record holder did, the main part and the 50,000, but they didn't do the bats part. And I was like, well, hey, man, I can get more points there, So I tried it and kind of worked out a strategy, and it was great because before that, it was about 30,000 points. So, really big boost.
Thank you so much. And listen, this is going to be the last prize that I'm allowed to give away because I was instructed to keep some for later, and I've already failed to do that. So, Carrie, please pick between some dice and some pins.
What would you say? Dice.
Dice. Yeah, that would have been my choice as well. Let's go.
Oh, man. And now watch the questions all dry up because there's no more prizes.
Yes, I am happy to take more questions, but I have run out of prizes. So feel free to give me a wave if you would like to ask. And honestly, the questions have been really good so far. Everything that is something that I've been pretty interested to find out. I'm going to go and find one of the people waving, Mike.
All right, well, while you're doing that, I have a little bit to add about this section. So the way I'm doing it, if you notice, when I pop up from the blocks, the springs are always up. I'm doing that intentionally. I time it out to use them as a backstop so I don't end up in the wrong place, getting spiked in the butt, and then falling down the pit there. So it's very tightly timed. The reason I keep jumping into the piston is that's the tile that respawns the blocks, so I just jump really high so that I don't end up accidentally falling between the gap and getting crushed. This one I go to 8 minutes on there. I leave myself 2 minutes because not only do I have to get all the way to the finish, but I also have to take out a boss and then wait for the screen to scroll over for the pod to appear. So I've had ones where I let too much time go by and died like waiting for the pod to come on screen. And it's really frustrating. Oh, I'm going to bail on that one. That was just a little too close for comfort. All right. So a couple more minutes of this. But, yeah, if you got some questions, please keep them rolling.
It trips me out every time you jump onto the spikes and just push against them. I always think that's the danger zone. Oh, my God, Mike.
Yeah, and that was a botch right there. But I've trained myself to not go for things that are stupidly risky. Like, if I was at home just, like, filming this, trying to go for the gusto, I would take a few more risks, but since I'm live here and I don't want to be a huge embarrassing failure, I make sure that I play it safe.
Well, while you're playing it safe, Mike, we have another question. What's your name?
Chase.
Hey, Chase, how you doing?
Chase, what's your question for Mike?
I am a big fan of Sonic CD, so I would like to know what's your favorite stage from Sonic CD.
Ooh, you are not going to like me. You are going to put your coat on and walk right out for now. I love the idea of Sonic CD. I don't like the execution. I find the whole triple times mechanic to kind of take a lot of the pacing away from the game, and I think the level design is not as good. And it kind of pains me because a lot of the Sonic 1 team went to work on that as opposed to Sonic 2, so it's got a lot more of the Sonic 1 vibes and like the art style, so I love the way the game looks. I love some of the extra animations. I love the extra dash move. But I just could never get into the game itself because of the levels. And I sincerely apologize. I really do.
What do you think, Chase? Are you leaving?
Maybe. But no worries.
No worries, Mike.
Now,
We'll
wait, I have a
forgive
question
you.
for you, Chase. Because the great debate, which soundtrack of Sonic CD do you like better, the U.S. or the Japanese one?
Japanese all the way. I'm
Gotcha.
sorry.
No, they're both great, but you're right, the Japanese soundtrack is a banger and a half in that game.
Not even a hint of a moment of choice there. Just immediately and with no hesitation, the Japanese soundtrack.
Well, I mean, it's his favorite. He's going to know. He's going to know it inside and out. Awesome. Well, thank you, Chase.
All right, we have another question here. What's your name?
Jamal.
Hey, Jamal, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
I had a question. So, what's your favorite classic Sonic game?
Sonic 1. Always has been. It's not just because I have the score records. I've always just liked Sonic 1 best. And I know it's kind of controversial. Everyone seems to gravitate towards 2 or 3 with Knuckles attached. And the main complaint I hear, there's no spin dash. There's no spin dash. Well, you know what? I don't care that much, to be honest with you.
The game's not designed for it. Yeah, it's fun to play without spin dash because you have to actually know when to roll and things. So
exactly, yeah. And there's different ways to get speed. You got to use the elements on it. But yeah, I like the levels. I love the art style. I think the art style is a little different than all the others, and it's my favorite of it. The music is on point. Just the whole vibe of the game in general. I really like. And I like the whole setup of, even though they changed the level order for it, I like the original thing where it was supposed to go from being very natural to more mechanized as the game went on. So if you have an early regular copy, a USA copy of the game, and you go to the level select, you'll notice the levels are out of order. And the reason for that is the original order used to show that. So it used to actually go Green Hill, then into Labyrinth Zone, then Marble Zone, then Starlight, Spring Yard, then Scrap Rain. If you go in that order, you'll see, the world becomes increasingly robotic. So it's like you see Robotnik as he succeeds more and more with his evil plan as it's going on.
Mike, I'm going to be playing off of you as to when you are comfortable receiving questions, as I know you're approaching the end of this grindy level.
Oh, keep going. Yeah, keep them coming, man. Once 8 minutes hits, I'm just going to go for the finish line here. But, yeah, keep them coming. And we are just about to hit our 500,000 mark.
And if you haven't seen it yet, the world record is on the screen. Make some noise for Mike as he passes 500,000 points.
Thank you. by this pace, I actually might finish in Labyrinth Zone, which is rare. Usually it's Starlight Act 1, which I have a very strained relationship with that level. All right, I'm waiting here because I can't really hear so well, so I didn't know when that last came, and I did not want to botch that. But luckily, I've given myself enough time. But yeah, the thing here is just you want to get to the finish line. You got to give yourself enough time to, you know, take out Robotnik. I missed the last one. That's a tough one to get as like a full stream combo. All right, go here. No spikes.
Mike, I've got another question for you.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been doing speedrunning?
Okay, that's a great question, actually. So in terms of like speed running and wanting to go for competitive video gaming, actually it goes back a very, very long time. I first got into just learning about speed running and seeing it back in the very early 2000s. I'm talking like 2001, 2002 when I was in high school. And it was the famous Mario 1 speed runs, right? And it turns out that the record holder at the time was someone from like 2 towns over from me. The record was at about 5:07 back then. Now it's just been decimated by this guy Cosmic, who is like the greatest player I've ever seen. He's insane. Cosmic with a K, if you want to check him out. But what I was saying there was I was trying to go for that, right? And I never got it. I got to like 7 minutes, but it started me getting like really good at the game. Oops. Gotta be careful there. I don't want to lose out all my rings. So hang on 1 second and I'll continue to answer. I just want to make sure this is not an issue here. All right, there we go. So anyway, I would, you know, go for that, but I never really achieved it. But I was looking and I said, I really, really, really want to do this. I am going to continue the story after the next run because the next level is actually a tight-timed speed run here, right? So this is one of the more exciting ones. It's probably one of my favorite levels to do in the run. So I just really don't want to botch this. But I will continue. There is more to the history here. Oops. Yes. That's tough. If you jump too early or too late, you get kind of a bad spot there. All right, 28 seconds, 38 rings, 50,000 point bonus, all the bonus flags. We don't stay in the 500,000 point range for too long in this game. Thank you, thank you. All right, so back to my history there, right?
Mike, the entire crowd was just holding their breath for 28 straight seconds. That was intense.
Awesome. Well, breathe. You may all breathe now. All right, this one is, this takes about under 3 minutes, but you get a lot of rings here, so it's actually a good point level. All right, so I can tell the story once more. So after that, I said I wanted to do this. Flash forward to 2020, right? Everything's shut down. We have, nothing really to do, and I'm on Instagram. And there is this account called Super NES Guys, all right? This guy Gino out of Brooklyn. And he was holding these high score contests on there, and he did one for Sonic Spinball. So I had nothing better to do. I was like, all right, I got that game. I'm going to go for it, right? I started playing, and I got curious. I said, you know what, what's the world record score here? I started actually getting pretty good at it. And I said, well, I got nothing better to do. I'm going to go for this, right? And I did. I grinded out a run. It took like 6 straight hours. It was crazy. And I absolutely demolished the world record score there. But I didn't film the entire run. Oh, I got to go back up there. So I couldn't make it an official submission. I was just able to win the competition and also get a tricked-out Game Gear as a prize, which was cool. And I kept telling myself, I was like, you know what? I am going to make this official. I'm going to film this. I got to do it. You know, it's got to happen. And I never did. Well, fast forward to the end of 2022 over the Christmas break, and he's holding another competition, and it's Sonic 1. And I'm like, well, I'm good at that game. I never really thought about score in it, but I'm going to go for it. And I started doing well, so I got curious again, and I said, hey, what's the high score? And I looked, and I was like, I can do this. Well, I finished out the competition, and I was about 16,000 points away from the record at the end of the deadline. And I was like, I'm not going to leave that there, right? I'm doing this. So I spent the next month or two like really going at it and trying to get it. And I'm going to tell you, I actually broke the record about 4 times before my official submission, but there was always something wrong with some of them, including one which was an audio glitch, which was really annoying for people to listen to, and that one was heartbreaking because it was a good run. So I did all that, posted my scores, and then I was like, all right, well, how do I get people to pay attention? Now I got to start Twitch streaming and do all this, and everything just snowballed from there.
Fantastic little backstory there, Mike. And we do have another question. Hello, what's your name?
Hey, my name is Joe.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
So my question is, other than Sonic, what is your favorite game to speedrun and why?
Well, I don't do a ton of speedruns. I'm more high score playing. I have been working on a couple. One that I was working on was the NES Paperboy. I got pretty good at that. The record for that is almost perfect, though, so that's a really tough one, and there are some random elements there. I have another one that I'm planning. I have put in my application for another convention to do another live record run, and it would be Castlevania Bloodlines, as it's the 30th anniversary of the game. Oh, I didn't realize I was that close to 3 minutes. I lost 1,000 points. Oh, well.
And how important is like every kind of 1,000 points? I think it kind of gets lost when I'm looking at a 6-digit figure, you know what I mean?
Not as important as you would think, but it adds up. Another little thing, see how there's other bonus flags? There's the hundreds. There's actually a bug in the game's code. You don't get 100 points for those. That's why I tend to skip them. You actually only get 10 points. So it's a difference of 30 points, and if you're really adamant about it, just collect 3 more rings during the level and hang on to them, and you got the same thing. All right, so this one, number 5, this is also a good bonus level, so if you end up stuck with this one as your main one, you haven't done too bad. A lot of rings, not too many, dangerous, cheap pitfalls here. There's a couple, like right there. I had to talk, right? Well, it looks like we're seeing that one again. Me and my big mouth, right? So, yeah, the 4 and 5 are the best for points. I think, unfortunately, I'm not going to get to repeat 4 as many times as I would like. But hopefully I'll be able to get you the good ending here. I love doing that. Nope. Poor timing. All right, this section, this one can screw you. These like little kind of interlocking blocks. And the reason for it is one side is a way bigger gap than the other. If you notice, the gap's a lot smaller there, and it's not much taller than Sonic. So you can get a very bad crush death really easily. And the thing you have to remember with crush deaths is you can jump up into them, and the thing can be moving away from you, and it can still happen because it just goes on whether Sonic's sprite exceeds the height that you have there. So when Sonic jumps, if you notice, he's a little ball. He is shorter. And then when he lands, he stands up, and he's taller. So you could jump into a gap, clear it, stand up, and then you're crushed. So you got to be really careful with that. That's why I always wait. I always do it while it's going up and just as it's slowing, stopping. That way I don't run that risk.
Mike, for those of us who aren't as intimately familiar, I take some responsibility for that.
No, that's me. Don't worry about it.
How far through the game are you at the moment?
Probably like, I don't know, I'd say a little more than half, definitely. Because, I still have Labyrinth, Starlight, and Scrap Brain to go. And this is the last of Spring Yard. All right, so, look, I'll still get a good amount of rings here, so that's no biggie that I lost those ones. Would have been better, but, oh well. You just got to roll with it. That's it. It's live, right? Anything can happen. Like I said, I could walk away completely empty-handed here today. That's the thrill of it. Just, I do it legit, so all the risks that come along with it. All right, so right here, normally I would probably do that a little different. Ooh, that was risky. I really shouldn't have done that, but it was okay. Oh! You can actually get crushed to death there. So my lack of attention almost completely botched this run there. Whew.
So, Mike, you're a little bit more than halfway with 628,000 points and counting. It seems to me like you're pretty on track. Is that right?
I am definitely on a very good pace here. I'm on track for a really good score here. I just got to not screw it up. Which, as I said, that's the hard part.
What do you think, guys? Is Mike going to do it?
Thank you. I very much appreciate the vote of confidence. So, Labyrinth Zone, right? These levels are a treasure hunt. All right? They are just about collecting rings, killing enemies, and just getting as much as you can out of it. They do take a little longer, but nowhere near as long as those 2 Marvel Zone levels, because there's no grinding sections. You just kind of go for it. There's a couple cool bounces in there, and it's the start of the most anxiety-inducing sound ever created in video games. The famous Sonic is about to drown noise. All right, so here if I pull this off, you get a pretty cool bounce combo here. 1, 2, 3, down to him, to them, and one more. Boom! Got it. Thank you. All right, so here we take this one out, get the rings. Want to make sure we get air. Here's the thing to note. The air bubbles have different timing in every single level that contains them. As you go through the game, there are fewer and fewer breathable air bubbles. It takes longer between them all. So like here, it doesn't really matter. You can show up at a bubbler here and be like, oh yeah, there's like 3 seconds till I die, and you'll be fine usually. Oh crud. Got it. See? Ooh, feel your heart beating there.
Mike, please. I can only take so much.
Oh, man. Look, I got to make it exciting, right? This is a performance. Yeah.
No, please stop. I can't take it. Just get to the end and win.
Oh, man. All right. So almost done with this one. 3 is the big one. 3 is pretty cool. I actually like that level a lot, but it also has the section that's just like death on a stick. This is actually pretty rough. So these right here, they are not just spikes. They are crush deaths. So you have to be really careful in those. If you hit them at the wrong angle, it's game over. So I'm going to be kind of going a little slow through here, and I don't apologize for it. Because I would really, really hate to lose it over something so stupid. Okay. Got through there. Got our little cheesy, corky-looking thing there. Hooray for buoyancy. Almost done here. If you just wait for him to throw one, and then it'll time out where he'll always have his head exposed. And that's the thing, too. Like, you got to do, like, little... If you're trying to do anything like this, you got to kind of, like, focus on little sections and just, like, see what you can make consistent. Because not every game has things that are consistent, but there's more than you would think in there. So you got to just, like, really be very analytical about it. I also, like, I do, like, little, like, practice drills on things for, like, certain levels. Like, so that Spring Yard speedrun, I have probably done that more times than I've played the game of Sonic since 1991. You know, it is, you got to do them. And I'll do things for myself like, all right, I'm not going to stop until I do it 5 times in a row or stuff like that, right? To, like, really, I was trying to get to the little vines hanging down because that's where the bonus flag is for 10K. And I was just shy. It threw me into the ring. That one hurts a little bit, but
you're less than 100,000 points away now.
I know. It's crazy. This is when it, like, starts getting scary. You know, it's like, now this particular bonus level, not a fan. Let's just put it that way. I do not like this one at all. It's got really cheap mechanics to it. So I'm just trying to get. I'm going to try and get a little more than I normally would because of that lack of the 10K. But I am going to also play it somewhat safe because it's very easy to just get thrown into the pit. And I really, really want to get you all the good ending here. If I don't, I apologize, but I really want to do it.
So, Mike, how does it work in terms of finishing the game? If you get a high score but then you die, does it still count?
It does still count. It's just the highest score in one life, so it ends when you either finish the game or you die. But me, I am not satisfied at all with not finishing the game. So even if I did that here today and I broke it and I didn't finish it, I probably wouldn't even submit it. I'd probably be like, no. And then like go home and do it again for like Twitch or something because I can't. It's just one of those things. It will eat me alive. All right, I'm going to go for it here and just kind of end this because I need this one out of the rotation if I want to see the fourth one again. So let's see how I made up for it. All right, 7,000, not terrible. So what this tells me is I'm probably going to break the record on Starlight Act 1. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that one at the end of Labyrinth 3, because I have a love-hate relationship with that level. All right, so Labyrinth 2, once again, another treasure hunt here. I always trigger that to get that out of my way, because that thing can really just... It's not very far between the spikes and the platform there, so that can go very bad very fast. So on that one, I'm just like, you know what, get it out of the way, make it not a hazard, and then go from here. Gonna go here, a little combo, 1, 2. Love doing that. There's a lot of cool bounces you can do in the Labyrinth Zone levels. And some of the strategies, like if... like some of the score attack strategies, they take a really long time, and they actually rely on something that I haven't perfected yet. See these enemies here? Those are called burrow bots, right? They're kind of the precursor to Grounder. You can manipulate their behavior a little bit, but I haven't fully figured it out. But if you can kind of lure them together and then just get really big chain combos for it. And that's what like the craziest like per level scores rely on for it. All right, we're gonna grab that. So for this, most people tend to just go for the spring and go out, but there's actually a lot of rings around. That's another thing. You know, Sonic has a lot of verticality to the game, so you really do have to explore. And with the branching paths, you got to choose what's going to be the best one for you, and it's a balance between collecting things and getting speed there. So this whole thing is a strategy, right? It is very planned on it. It's planned, but it's a different game every time. Like, it's not like, oh, okay, to the pixel, everything's going to be the same. No, it's not like that. Like, I am very much reacting in the moment to what I'm seeing on my screen here. But, like, my goal and how I'm going to do it is all planned out. All right, I'm going to grab this and try and play it safe here. This spike, I hate this spike so much. Oh, man. And you see why? Oh! Come on. You jerk of a spike. Ugh. You can see why I dislike it so much. Well, this level is not going to be very lucrative for me because I'm basically at the end of it and lost all my rings, so... Oi. That means I'm really going to have to rely on that starlight. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's thrown all his spikes. Or it, I would say. It's a Orbinaut. All right, so let's see what I'm going to end up at. I don't even think I'm going to get the bonus level on this one. That's a tough break. Oh, man, really. And that's one of those ones, by the way. That's one of those, like, little spots in the game where, like, you have those little things that screw you over, and it's like a little trauma response there. You're just like, oh, my God, why, So, yeah, I don't even get the bonus level on this one, so we're going straight in Act 3. Oy. All right, so 681. We should pass 700,000 on this one, and it's going to come down to Starlight 1 for the actual record breaking. All right, for this, I'm doing this slow for a reason. The enemy combos, or any combo, stop when you land. So I could literally run across the level on flat ground and keep the combo going. But if I jump and then I land, that's what stops it. The landing does. So if I jump or I walk off a ledge. All right, so for this one, don't hit the button. You want to leave the floor there so it's easier to get to this chamber and get extra rings. There's quite a few in there. You know, it's a good bit of points. You don't want to leave that on the table. All right, and now we go down, and I take the upper route here, right? The best way to do it, you can actually get back around if you leave a certain enemy in place and kind of bounce off them. You can get back around and do both routes for a lot of points. It does take a very long time, too, so I'm not going to be doing that today. I'm just going to be taking the top route. Uh-oh. Anxiety. Come on. Ah. Okay, so we're about to get to what I call the Graveyard of Records. That set of spikes under the stones right there. And the reason is that is a crush death. That is not a spike move. I have literally had world record-breaking runs that stopped right there. And, oh my god, if you heard the stuff that came out of my mouth, you would have had me committed. It was very bad. All right. The other thing, see that those swinging spikes there, they go at different paces, each of them. So it's kind of like double Dutch jump rope right there. You know, you got to be mindful of both. All right, 2, 3, 4, and you know what? Let's just hear the song. I don't need it, but I love that. And there's actually a really good bounce combo coming up. So for this, we just kind of ride it around. We're going to collect an invincibility. And then do a pretty crazy section that's here. All right, so I just want to drop down. Don't want to miss this box here. There's a button that you need to trigger the floor to move away. Through. All right. Take care of that, fella. And then wait here. And don't worry, I have plenty of time to get it. So from here, you just got to remember to jump at the end, and you'll get yourself in some invincibility. And actually, it's okay if you lag a little bit there. It just gives more time for that bubble to come out. And you know what? I don't care about that ring. I'm just going to go for it. You want to run across this, and that way you keep the invincibility to take out this Orbinaut here, so they're just not in your way, causing you problems. Stop, get a little air, and then you want to get to this one and look down. And when the fish line up to where you need them to be, go for it. Bounce 1, bounce 2. Oh, it didn't spawn it, but I got that one. There's a 4th fish that it didn't spawn, that it's supposed to go to them. But at least I kept the whole combo going. And that's a thing that happens, too, in this game. Sometimes, like certain enemies, they just don't spawn when they're supposed to. And it's just something you got to deal with. All right, so up here. Going to take our final approach. This section can be pretty crazy. All right, so the trick here is to walk off this. Don't jump it. You want to stay as low to the ground as you can. That way you don't end up in the air getting smacked by the spike ball. There we go. All right, and then our final approach to the just craziest boss battle in the game. I don't know what they were thinking when they made this one. I have actually defeated Robotnik in here like once or twice in my life, but normally I don't go for it. It's just kind of crazy, and all you do is get 1,000 points for it. It's not worth it. I guess if I was trying to grind it out to the very last point, I would, then try and do it. All right. We'll take him out. We're going to let the water level come back down. They just go over here, and it triggers it. It's a positional trigger. So if you notice, I'm actually not even going to hit Robotnik on my way up, because that actually pushes you farther back down and then makes it harder to get to the top where you need to be to win. So I'm just going to leave him alone, since I know I'm not going to defeat him. There we go. All right, so here it is. I hated this so much when I was a kid. This was just like the worst boss ever. This and Spring Yard, I just could not stand. Now I think it's actually pretty cool. It's, albeit difficult, but those right there, where you're in the double and then you have the spike coming at you at the landing place. And you also got to watch out, because when you have the water rising, like you can jump fine in water, but if you're at the very top of the water, and it's just at the right point, what'll happen is it will actually just like cut the height of your jump. And that can cause you a lot of problems if you really needed to clear something. All right, we're good there. Give him a little shot. Hey, get out of here. All right, I'm going to hang here for a second because I got some time. I'm not getting a time bonus. I've outrun that. The next level is crazy, all right? This is a speed run. This should be where the record falls. I have never pulled this off successfully in a competition run ever. I botched it on my record online for the 5 lives. I botched it at TooManyGames. It is a speed run as well as getting the bonus. So hopefully I do it here. It would be awesome if that's what broke the record. So wish me luck here, folks. Thank you.
Well, I need all of this stuff for work. I put all my when I'm doing stuff in OBS, I put all my hotkeys. But for this show, yesterday was pretty good. I don't know if you saw any. Yeah, this I see you just sit on this for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then
Oh! And I botched it again. I am doomed to botch that. I will never complete that in a competition run. I can't believe I overshot the spring there. Oh my god. Ah! Okay, now I'm in trouble, actually. This is hairy. I am really close to the record, but in a very bad situation. Oh, man. Well, there's not going to be any 900,000 today. This is going to be in the 800,000s when I pull it off. Uh-oh. We're gonna let them just kind of go by. Oh, man, that kills me that I didn't get that. That was just heartbreaking. Oh, well. And actually, I am going to go back for this one because now I don't have the time bonus, so whatever. I can at least get my bonus flags and bonus level. Oh, thanks. You're too kind, but definitely not what I was going. That was supposed to be the fall. So it's going to have to be the next level, unfortunately. But I was hoping for that, speed run, mic drop record break there, but not in the cards for today. I swear, there is some cosmic force that is just like, Mike, whenever you're trying to show and prove on that level, you are going to botch it. You will do it 10 times in a row at home, but whenever you have to do it when it counts, you're not doing it. All right. This is what I meant to do the first time I did this. Get our rings here. Oh my goodness, I just realized something. We're not going to get the good ending. I have 3 levels left and there is only 1 more time left through the bonus. Oh no. So our buddy Robotnik is going to be sitting there telling me to try again, juggling a single emerald. Oh well. No, oh well. Since I'm not getting the good ending, I don't actually care. It's all about the rings there. All right, we are less than 10,000 points away. So this level is where it's going to go down. And this is a quick level too. This one is done in under 45 seconds. It's funny, that individual ring, sometimes it gets it, sometimes it doesn't. And I've always loved Starlight Zone because you could just burn in these levels. Like, there are sections where you can just absolutely go bonkers with the speed. All right, here we are, but you don't want to go through because 10,000's here. New world record right there. Thank you, everybody. So literally, every point I get is a new record.
That's unreal. Mike, how much of the game do you have left?
I have 4 levels in the final zone left.
4 more levels. So what is the potential score that you could achieve now?
Right now, I don't think I'm going to hit 900,000 because I botched that speedrun level, and that's big points. I think I'm going to be somewhere in the 800,000s. Probably over 850, but I don't think I'm achieving 9 today. The best I've ever done with the current strategy I have has been around 950 or over. With perfection, you could probably get up to about 980. But then there's some techniques you have to incorporate if you want to have the 1,000,000-point life, which one day I would like to do that, but there is no way I'm trying those things in front of an audience with a time limit, because some of the things are literally frame perfect. Like the last level I did, you have to actually speedrun that, and it requires some crazy jumps in there for very, very tight timing. I've pulled it off maybe 4 times in practice, so definitely not something I'm trying to do on a stage.
So you're saying we're not ever going to see the 1,000,000-point run out of you on stage at PAX Arena?
You know what? Maybe you will. Maybe if I get really good at it, I will do it again. If you guys will have me and pull the 1,000,000.
What do you think? Should we have Mike back?
Hey, thank you. Oh, wow, that was a bigger response than I had hoped for.
Mike, you're killing it up here, and everyone's loving you. Guys, look, we have a world champion here. He's already broken his own record, but I know he's not going to be satisfied unless he makes it to the end of the game. So make some noise for Mike. Make some noise for HighScorsese.
Thank you. And yes, the name is a pun on High Score and director Martin Scorsese. It is, in case you were wondering. Literally, I had to come up with a handle after doing the record because I had to make a separate Instagram account for it and stuff because I have a personal, but I don't really use it for anything. So I was like, all right, I want this out here publicly. What am I going to do? So I was like, I had to come up with a name, and my wife actually came up with it. We were just rattling off puns, and she just goes, HighScorsese, and I was just like, that's awesome. We're doing it. So thank you, Tiffany. And my logo, I wasn't allowed to display because it's 7 different forms of trademark infringement. But those of you who know me online know my logo is a mock-up, a parody of the Goodfellas theatrical poster, where it's Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles playing the parts of, Leota, Pesci, and De Niro in there. And I had it custom designed by an artist because her style was great. She nails, because I wanted it to look like the Sonic box art style. Yeah, whatever. So she nailed it. She's out of Brazil. Her name is arts_Clarissa on Instagram. But check her work out. She's fantastic and was excellent to work with. All right, so no more of those. I'm only finishing with 3 emeralds. This was not a very emerald-heavy day. But let's get some points here. Get to the end. So for this one, you want to roll at that point, because if you don't, it throws you off the ramp, and then you don't get to go all the way up and get all those awesome rings. Uh-oh. We're going to jump over you. For here, trigger the bombs and then run away. If you don't, you're in a really bad situation. All right, for here, hit this, get bounced up, and then go towards the inside. It'll actually send it higher, so that you can get to this ledge over here. And this makes it a lot easier. You get rings and this invincibility, because this is another graveyard of runs. That bomb blowing up, hitting you while you're on the platform, and knocking you into the pit, all right? That is a source of many outtakes from my 5 lives runs until I learn that part of the strategy. So yeah, some of the stuff I do here is... Uh-oh. I don't like having to do that. Okay, we're good. I don't love having to cross that pit without invincibility, but it was okay. So some of the strategy here, some of it I learned, watching other people. Just if you're an athlete or something, right? You watch game footage, you watch other people to play, and you see what they're doing because you want to, get good on there. But plenty of it I kind of came up with myself. I just did the math, played through the things, noticed things about the game, and put a plan together. And it took me a while. It took me a couple months to actually finalize it. All right, if you do it like that, you'll never hit the spike ball because it'll be swinging at you when you jump off. And now we get to one of my favorite bosses in the game. It's just really unique here, the whole levers and spikes. And I feel like part of the point of this game, because I know the whole point was Sonic's basically a sentient pinball, right? They wanted pinball style gameplay, and the main impressive part is the physics engine of this game. How they made such a crazy physics engine in such a primitive kind of older game. So I feel like this is Yuji Naka being yo, I also got leverage in here. I'm just gonna keep doing all different physics and showing it off. There is a strategy where you can kind of keep a rapid fire, but it's difficult to time out, so I just kind of do the 2 style as opposed to doing that. Because I already crossed the 2-minute barrier anyway, so I'm not going to get any more points for finishing it any sooner. Thank you. So what are we going to end up with here? Cool. All right, so an extra 13,600 points by the end.
Mike, how distracting would it be if I came and sat with you?
Sit down. Pull up a chair.
I'm gonna pull up a chair. I'm gonna pull up this chair
Come on over
here.
All right, Scrap Rain. There is actually some cool secrets in these levels. Here, do you need me to scoot over?
No. You keep doing
All
you,
right.
Mike. I'll work around you. Don't worry.
All right, so for this, you want to take the upper route. Go up these little kind of they kind of look like those triple Italian sandwich cookies, they're like rainbow cookies almost. They're kind of like those in block form here. So you got to go there. You got to go up, roll through these guys, so you get the combo, and then go down to the pit. Get both of these boxes, and then your platform will come out. Oops. And don't worry, time is not really a big factor in this level, so that's okay. I'm going to jump in the middle. Little tight spot there. Here's the trick. If you see a platform on the end, out in the... Don't go to it. Wait till the 2 come there. It won't spawn the platforms correctly if you don't wait for those 2. And it still didn't do it that time either. That's really weird. That's actually never happened that way, but oh well. Just going to go for it. You want to go down here. Down here, because you get a lot more opportunities for rings and points, and I just kind of have to go through it with 10 fewer rings and no bonus shield, which, oh well. All right, so that's there. We're going to go across, get all these. And then you want to actually go into this pit, because you got two monitors down there. And then springs that spring you up to a whole lot of rings. I didn't get it one shot. All right, so you go here. Watch out for the caterpillar. I hate those enemies. They give you so many cheap damage there. All right, so you stop here, stand in the middle, and go down. That'll put you in a safe spot. You got to be careful here getting these. It's a balance between the fire and the electricity. All things you never want to happen at home. Arcing electricity and fires. All right, almost done. And this one actually has a little kind of extra FU at the end, right? That tail can knock you off the platform, so you got to be really careful there, or else you're down in the pit and you're done. All right, jump here. We'll get these. Trick here, wait like a split second, and that way that'll be out of your way. And then you can use the ramp and get over all that.
Something I wanted to ask you is just watching you do this is so mesmerizing. How much of this, as you're talking about it, an extra 10K, how much of it is you thinking about what you have to do, and how much of it is just you being in the flow and doing it because it's a muscle memory at this point?
It is a combination of knowing what you have to do. There is muscle memory, obviously, for some of the maneuvers, but it is definitely not purely muscle memory because it's not always the same every time, so you really do have to react to what's going on. So there is plenty of it that is, autopilot. There is plenty that I'm thinking about it, and there's a lot where I'm seeing what's happening and I'm just reacting really fast.
So we're not going to see the blindfolded high score anytime soon?
No, not for that. That would be crazy. If someone pulls that off, they have my infinite respect. Even if they just complete the game blindfolded and get a really good score. Because that's just nuts. And it's, I don't even know how they really do that. If it's just pure muscle memory, if it's auditory cues, I can't even fathom it. All right, check this out. See those 3 rings? No, you don't. Leave them. Because there is a secret that is based off of how many rings you have that's coming up here. So you do not want to collect those. They will mess you up. This is, yes, a very dangerous area, so I'm just kind of taking my time and trying not to have a problem. I find that part just so cruel. It's like, here's a pit with a ceiling and just shocks you to death. It's like repeatedly. It's like, Jesus, Robotnik, come on, man. Cruel and unusual punishment there. All right, so I have 47 rings. I'm only going to collect 2 of these. I do not want 50 or more. You want to approach this with less than 50. And the reason for it is it'll stop you here. Now I can collect a bunch of other rings at this point. Oh, man. That almost got me. And then you want to go down so that you'll end up with 75 rings here, which is literally the best you can do with this part. All right, so we go here, we get these 3 extras, and then we're going to go back. And this is the secret. If you're in this tube but more than 50 rings, it brings you up another level. So you get a bonus. So that's why it was very important to have under 50 rings so I can still hit the middle section there. All right, so after 5, you drop down. And there's another secret coming up that has to do with the time on the clock. So I'm pacing a little slower here, so I'm going to have to go to a different timing, but luckily I've kind of figured out a couple different ways here. All right, so we're going to go through here. You want to trigger this and just let this blow up. If you don't, you're really taking your life in your hands there. All right, bounce through. It was 30, so it's every 15 seconds these blocks come out that you need. I think I might have botched that. Too early. Yeah. All right, so it disappeared at 47 there, so... Okay. So at 02 I'm looking for. Figure that. There it is. And then these come up, and you can get all the extra stuff up here. And you're like, that's 4,000 extra points, so you don't want to leave that on the table. All right.
I feel like that deserves a bigger round of applause, to be honest.
Thank you. You are a world-class hype man, Elliot.
Just take me with you, Mike. I could watch this forever.
Awesome. So I'm doing something on purpose there. Notice I got 200 on there. I'm stopping short, running into him, and not jumping until then so that I chain a combo between the two. If I were to jump, it would stop the combo. So just squeaking out those little extras that I can. Goodbye to you. And then this. This is actually kind of a crazy section because you can really get smacked hard there. So there are actually no bonus flags after Scrap Arena Act 1. So just whatever your ring and time bonus is there, that's it. The next level is all about the points you get from taking out enemies. There is no time bonus or ring bonus in it. All right, so check this out. This famous thing where it kind of sends you down, you can kind of trigger it funny. So Robotnik doesn't do his jump until you get a certain point. So you can just kind of look at it and just be like, "What's up? What's going on, man? Oh, you're gonna send me in the pit? All right, do it. I don't care."
The Robotnik standoff.
I have a hack version of this at home that's like the Sonic movie edition, so they replaced the Sonic sprite with a movie-esque one, and the Robotnik is like a Jim Carrey kind of sprite. I did a stream of that on Twitch like a month back or so, like in the lead up to this, because I didn't want to... And it was actually a score that broke my old record, but I didn't want to do it on a real copy because I wanted to do it here.
And we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Guys, are you enjoying this? Listen, look, if you're enjoying this, Mike does this all the time. I know you've all got your phones on you. It's twitch.tv/HighScorsese. And you do all sorts of stuff on your stream.
Oh, yeah. A lot of it is just beating games on there. It's not usually high score challenges. Hang on, this is a cool bounce, so I want to just focus on this real quick. 2, 3, and then down to the floor. Boom. Sorry.
Nice.
I just love doing that. Yeah, so a lot of times it's more just I pick a game. A lot of times I pick a game that day, and I just go through it and I beat it. There's certain games I've literally played for the first time and just beat it on the stream. That's just kind of, what I'm going for there. So a lot of it is challenges, too. I like to pick games that people find, have historically found hard and just show, hey, look, it's not impossible. You can do it, grind through it. And I'm usually successful, but there's some that I haven't. Like, for example, I never really realized most of the time I played the NES Turtles games when I was a kid, I played them with a partner. So playing them one player didn't go so great. I really wasn't used to that, you know? So things like that, you know. But, you know, a lot of it is just hanging out. I love interacting with the audience and the chat. So, you know, I absolutely make sure to do a lot of that. By the way, you notice it takes forever for bubbles to come out on this one. So you got to be really careful. So I'm doing a lot of stops where you're probably like, oh, why is he waiting? He's got plenty of time. It's like because by the time I get to a fountain there, I may not have the time, and I might just stand there waiting to drown. All right, I'm going to do a little bouncy bounce here. Uh-oh. Come on.
Oh my god.
Baby. That was, yeah, that was crazy. I thought I was done there.
But you're still here. Still in the kitchen, still cooking.
There. Oh, sometimes I get the third one in there, but oh well. So I think we're going to finish with about like an 840 something. I think that's...
Is there any chance of 850?
No, I don't think at this point, no. I'm going to try, but I don't think so. There's also a small little glitch in the US version of this, or what we call Rev 1, where you don't get your boss defeating points from the final Robotnik. So you're supposed to get 1,000 points for defeating every boss. They just said, too bad. Because there's a couple different editions of this game. So the one that came out overseas is what's called Rev 1, and there's a couple changes. And you can tell it, like water levels, they'll have like a horizontal wavy effect in there that they added to it. Also, you get all the points for Robotnik, and and another huge one. And this really only affects the 5 lives track for the most part. But your clock resets when you get a time up. In this version, it's whatever time you had when you approach that lamppost. So if I, was there with a minute to go, I'm starting the next attempt through with a minute. It's just how it works. In Rev 1, it puts you back to 0, so you have a chance to get more points as a result. Oh, man. This next section, by the way, is like the gauntlet run, and it is you're probably going to drown. I don't care much about that. The rings are just protection in this one. All right, going for it. Actually, I'm gonna abort that attempt and go back because it's very easy to drown at the end. Right. This is going to be a photo finisher. Come on. I'm pretty sure it'll come out at the last second. Do it, do it, do it. Yes! Oh my goodness. I hate that section so much. Every single time, it just takes years off my life. Oh, man. All right, here it is. Final zone, final Robotnik. We're going to lock in this score here. Now, I am going to slow play this a little bit because I really don't want a silly crush death, right? So this is going to be a play it safe. And you're going to see I'm going to kind of favor this corner here. It's kind of my safe space. I really don't want a problem. So even if there's some where it's like, oh, you could have hit him. Oh, well. And in the end, this usually ends up taking about like 2.5 minutes doing it this way. But it is random how they do it. Probably could have jumped that one, but that was like one of those ones I'd feel like a complete idiot if I got crushed and died there. So,
how does it compare doing this on stage at PAX compared to doing this on the stream?
Oh my god, I'm a lot more comfortable this time than I was at TooManyGames because like I kind of paced well and broke it in a reasonable time. But at TooManyGames, I was pooping a brick there. I was absolutely fried from doing that. It was so nerve-wracking. I'm a lot more comfortable this time around, but it's still definitely a lot more anxiety-inducing than just doing it sitting in my lazy boy in my basement at home, you know? Come on. He's really, like, putting up a fight. He's like, no, you are going to work for this. Let's see if I can get a roll in there. Ah.
He knows you're on stage, that's why.
Does, exactly. Just like Starlight 1. Starlight 1 knows when I'm on stage or being recorded, and it just doesn't happen. In fact, after I'm done with this, I'm going to put in the code and just do that for you, if there's any time, just to show it, because I gotta. I have to do that live in front of an audience.
What do you think? Do you want to see that afterwards?
Thank you.
I think we're going to have to.
I think I have one more shot on him, maybe two. Can't be too many. Oh, come on. Yes.
Nice.
Oh, so there it is, folks. New world record, highest score in one life, final score of 841,290 points. I beat my old record by 100,100 points.
Come on, come on. That is something else.
Thank you.
Clearing his record by 100,000 points. His own world record, nonetheless.
Yes.
Give it up for Mike. Give it up for HighScorsese. Stand up, take a bow, face your crowd.
Thank you, everyone.
Look
Thank you
at
all.
all of the people here.
I'll even do a Shakespearean bow. We'll do the leg.
Absolutely sublime. What a performance that was, Mike.
Thank you,
Come on,
man.
that was unbelievable.
Oh, and thank you. That was something. That was definitely a bit nerve-wracking. That was, I tried to keep it calm, keep it cool and collected, but let's just say inside it was like, just really going. Yeah, thank you so much all for coming out, for making this an awesome experience. I'm happy to have done this. I'm happy to have done it in first attempt. I was almost absolutely sure that I was going to have some false starts and have to go back. So to bang it out in the first attempt, look, did I get to like my ideal score? No, but I'm really happy with this. So
well, you know what that means, right?
It just means I get to do it again.
Exactly. Look, let's sit down
Sure.
and let's show the crowd that Starlight Act.
Let's
1.
do it. All right, so I'm going to reset the game here. So first off, for all you at home, all right, there's a couple things. I'm going to turn it off. Just give me a second. This is just for my prove it section, all right? I am going to turn this off. So you see, look, game goes off, game goes on. It is the one I'm playing, and this is a original Sonic 1 pack and cartridge. Same type that you got when you bought your Sega back in 1991, all right?